Good morning. I'm Deirdre Hade. How are you doing? Thank you for joining me. This morning, we're going to be talking about seeing enlightenment through a new set of eyes. What is enlightenment, really? And is it something that we want? How do we get it? Can you keep it? Is it really relevant in our fast-paced, modern, distracted world? Well, to answer the first question, yes, it's absolutely relevant. Relevant as never before. Because enlightenment very simply means to be conscious, to be aware, to be awake, to have that observer watching. Even when you're having a difficult day or your thoughts are going in, let's say, tanking, bringing you down, or something happened, the observer, the you that watches this and says, oh, look, this is where I'm going now. That's enlightenment. There's a false belief that when you enter enlightenment that you are in bliss 100% of the time. Bliss 100% of the time is samadhi. And as Sai Baba said, when that happens 100% of the time, you leave this world. You can't stay in this world. So God actually doesn't want you to go there because God needs you here on this planet to do your work, to give your service, to hold the light. You're here to bring light into this world. So thinking about samadhi or even trying to attain this bliss 100% of the time is actually not what you want to do. It's really not relevant at this time. Make it relevant, let's say, right before you're ready to pass over, but not right now. What's relevant right now is the enlightenment of being aware. And there are steps to do that. And that's why I'm saying, look at this through new eyes. It's not something that's unattainable. It's not something that's so far away at the top of a tree that you can't reach it. It's actually right here with you. It is your natural state. It is when your soul and your consciousness and your ego mind have united to be the observer and to guide you so that when difficulty comes, you're able to touch the frequency of joy and bliss. You're able to go back there. Even if you don't sustain it, it doesn't matter. You're not meant to sustain it. And why aren't you meant to sustain it? Why can't we just live in bliss all the time? And I'm sure that there are some people who want to argue with me, but I've met many, many enlightened masters, and they all have difficult days. They all have times of sadness, grief, remorse, anger. They're humans. They're human beings. And what I learned from them and what I've learned through my own enlightenment is that enlightenment is a state that one weaves in and out of, like you're sewing a fabric. But don't try to sustain it. Because if you try to sustain it, you will automatically have it taken away. It is part of the sacred alchemy of what enlightenment is. Because as soon as you enter the observer, you watch yourself in a situation, and then you lift into a joy or a laugh or aha moment. You greet that moment. You take that moment in, like I set out in my newsletter to look for those aha moments. It may last 5 minutes, it may last 10 minutes, it may last a day or 2 days or 2 weeks. But the God, the universe, is going to send you another challenge because you met that challenge. And this is the university. The third dimension is your university of becoming more and more refined at working with your thoughts, your feelings, your reactions, and your ability to connect deeply with yourself, with the world, and to repair and redeem yourself. It is a dance. It is the lila, the Sanskrit word, the dance of the universe. And no matter how high on that ladder you go, there's a doorway and you may slide back down. Like the child game I used to play, my kids used to play, Chutes and Ladders, which, by the way, is related to that original Sumerian game of Leela, of the ladder and the slide back down as we journey on our path to enlightenment. Enlightenment is wisdom. It is having the ability to meet your challenges with wisdom, to understand wisdom, and to even descend deeper into the great wisdom of the intelligence of the universe. This is a wisdom that is beyond language. English, French, Spanish, Croatian, Russian, Japanese. Beyond all of that is an understanding, is a knowledge of how to navigate through this world, to bring repair and redemption. This is wisdom. Enlightenment is wisdom. When you are an embodiment of wisdom, the Sophia. And when you enter this state, when you are consciously carrying this state, the perception of this reality shifts. And when the perception shifts, even if the problems in your life have not been solved, even if nothing has changed, your relationship with it changes dramatically, and you experience enlightenment. Enlightenment is a deep state of connection, of union, of oneness. And in that oneness, you are still experiencing the myriad of thoughts, feelings, and emotions that your human self is here to experience. They don't go away. You have a new relationship with them. Sometimes I'll have days where I feel myself sinking to a low that I experienced 20, 30 years ago before I had my enlightenment. I say to myself, how could this be? I worked so hard. But I realize that's happening because the universe, the creator, is saying, it's time for you to take your sewing needle and dip deep into the fabric of the separation and gather that experience of separation, to sew it up, to lift it back up, into your consciousness of enlightenment. And so I do the work. And what is the work? How do we do the work? Very simply, you must have time for contemplation and reflection. There's a reason why in the ancient times we went to abbeys, we went to convents, we went into a hut in the woods, went into deep states of meditation. Because in order to attain enlightenment, in order to sustain it, one must, yes, be in the world, but also have time for deep contemplation and to watch your thoughts, feelings, and emotions from the silent watcher. Observe, and then go into prayer or deep connection. It's what I call prayer, that conversation with the divine intelligence. And ask for guidance to bless and heal the areas of disruption, the areas of disconnect, the areas of let me find the right word, the areas where we are in pain. And some of those pains, some of those griefs are meant to be experienced. They won't be lifted. They won't be taken away. We're meant to have them. But we are meant to have them with a new set of eyes, so that the grief and the pain becomes a doorway for grace. And grace comes when you have the ability to be intimate, deeply connected with the divine intelligence and with others of our human family, your friends, and even strangers. And when you have this ability to have this deep connection, this intimacy, grief reveals grace. And grace, beloved grace, is our shining light of enlightenment. For she is enlightenment, this presence of awe, this presence of rapture. When you have those moments, when they may come in a second, and then it may, oh, where did it go? It may come in a minute, and then, oh, I had another thought, or oh, I drove my car, I turned left, and oh, where did it go? It's gone. What do you do? This is where I want to now give you some tips. I want to just give you a few tips for you to touch your enlightenment and sustain it. So the first tip I want to give you is that when you have that moment, and we all have them, that is also the mystical moment, or very high state of mystical experience. When you have that, I want you to say to yourself, copy that. Like you're a Xerox. I don't like to use the word machine, forgive me, but it's like you're saying a template. You're telling yourself, copy that, make a copy of this. I don't want to forget it. I want to have this right in front of me. Just say, copy that. I'm going to remember this. And then when you come home, go to a place where you feel very safe. It may be a room, a corner in a room where you have set up an altar. It may be your bed. I do a lot of meditation in my bed. Close your eyes and say, I recall this state of awe. I have my copy. And then practice with your eyes closed finding your way back into that feeling. And you do this by using the senses. This is the bhakti, the path of bhakti. This is also the fabulous exercises one learns to use as an actor or a writer to recall experience. You can use the same thing for your enlightenment. So recall, what did it smell like? Like what was the air like when you had this experience? What did it feel like? What did it feel like around you when you had this experience? Then focus in on one particular memory. Perhaps it's a leaf on a tree. Perhaps it is the small finger of your daughter or son. Perhaps it is the way the sun hit the ocean, or perhaps it is the way a sparrow landed on a chimney. Recall that. And then in that moment, begin to watch your breath, because watching the breath will calm your mind. And as you watch your breath, connect to that experience and say to yourself, my intention is to bring my experience of enlightenment into the here and the now of where I am. And you will feel it come in. It's a doorway. It's an energetic pathway. You will feel it come into you. You will feel it radiate through your body. And then sustain it as much as you can, as long as you can, because you're opening a doorway. You're expanding a universe of awareness, like a bubble in this reality. You may not be able to see it, but it's very real. And stay there, linger as long as you can. Take this practice, begin to play with it, and your enlightenment is right there with you. You are a creator and master of energy and frequency. What we see in this world is a table, a desk, my body. This is all a direct result, a manifestation of energy, just as Plato said. The desk, the chair, body, it's like the shadow on the wall of the cave. It's very real. But there's a source that created it, a source behind it, an energy behind it. And this is what I want to encourage you and support you in really understanding, accepting, acknowledging your ability to be a ray, a radiance of energy, so that you can create your own experience of this reality, your own enlightenment. So, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate our time, and I hope that this helps you and serves you on your journey, as it has helped myself and many of the people I've worked with. So let's just close our eyes for a moment and allow the rays of light to enter the crown of our head. This beautiful orb of light. This orb of light upon our head is truth, the Keter. This orb of light shines over us a veil of white light, a beautiful veil, a healing veil of eternal light. As this light washes down through our body, over our body, down into our feet, pulling at our feet. We take a deep breath, allowing the peace, the awe, the harmony, the joy of life, our enlightenment, to fill every cell of our being, to sustain us through our day, to wash the parts of ourselves that are cynical. We turn our cynicism into a field of white roses, to allow this light of loving kindness to wash our areas of self-loathing, of perfectionism, of judgment, to wash these places in us until they become a wide open, vast ocean of possibility. We allow this beautiful white light to fill and expand our mind, our thoughts, our feelings, and to fill all the places of loss, grief, uncertainty with this beautiful white light until loss, grief, and uncertainty become a basket of pearls, your pearls of wisdom. And from this basket, you may take a pearl whenever you need the wisdom for your life, the wisdom of enlightenment, the wisdom of your joy and your purpose, the wisdom of healing, connection, and intimacy, the wisdom of our human soul as one family. Thank you. May open your eyes or not. Thank you for being here with me today. Please come visit me, deirdrehaye.com. Send me a message. I'd love to connect with you, answer any questions, and check out my recent article, How to Raise a Conscious and Loving Son, in Mantra Magazine. And you can find that in health food stores all around the country. That's Mantra Magazine. So happy to be here with you today, and hope you'll come see me at Kripalu Yoga Center in the fall. We'll have a wonderful 3 days of journey and enlightenment together. So have a great day, and bye-bye.